As recently as last year, when FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Association, released their National Risk Index, they still said San Diego County is the highest fire risk in the entire United States. There's 3.6 million people who live here in southwestern California, so we're very populated, and it takes a lot of power lines to serve that many people. Just here in our service territory, we have over 20,000 miles of lines altogether. Our droughts have been more extreme, and ignitions that decades ago may not have had a major impact on the community now are having major impacts. So we have to understand this, and we have to mitigate the potential of that happening.
The city of San Diego started undergrounding in the 1970s, and approximately 1,000 miles of overhead utility lines remain.
SDG&E has been developing and evolving the grid into some very high-risk areas. And this is where we anticipate any type of emergency that we face on the electric system.
We've implemented numerous weather stations throughout the service territory to do real-time monitoring of the weather. We're converting overhead power lines to an underground system. Not only does it help mitigate the wildfire risk and the public safety shutoff risk, but it helps with the aesthetics of these communities.
What we have developed here in San Diego is a new system that we called the Wildfire Next Generation System, WINGS, where we look at assets, SDG&E equipment, where are their power lines, where are their power poles. This is the level of science and granularity that needs to be understood when it comes down to prioritization of strategic undergrounding and those different areas. Having a safe system that's going to be resilient not only to the climate of today, but what we anticipate the climate to be like 30, 50 years from now is really important things for us to be thinking about now.
The general process for undergrounding is multi-layered and takes a lot of time. So first they'll trench and lay whatever conduits they need to, and then they will pull the wires through. It's not only a utility project, but then other services like internet, they have to switch over their transformers or their boxes. Once that's all done, then they have to flip the power from the overhead lines to the underground lines.
Everything's going underground, little by little. By the time I'm old, everything's going underground. Like if you go to downtown, you don't see poles there, much poles. Everything's going underground,
So La Jolla is part of the city of San Diego, but La Jolla itself as a community really has several different distinct areas. One is called Bird Rock, which is to the south. And then you have the village in the middle where all the shops are and restaurants and some of the bigger hotels. And then you have La Jolla Shores, which is down here where we are today. Bird Rock had most of its undergrounding done a long time ago. It's taken a long time in the shores.
Undergrounding delays at the city level usually come down to, in this neighborhood, the construction moratorium that happens during the summer, because this area is really heavily impacted by tourists. So to make traffic easier, any trenching work, any digging work has to stop by Memorial Day and can't resume until after Labor Day.
I love the shores, it's wonderful. My parents were very involved in the community. My mother helped establish the La Jolla Shores Association and write the Plan District Ordinance for the area. La Jolla Shores Association is sort of like a town council. It does everything for the La Jolla Shores area, and we go from the beach all the way up to Gilman Drive, which runs parallel to Highway 5, all the way up to Mount Soledad. We oversee what's known as the Throat, which would have been the area that you came in to come into La Jolla Shores. So we really oversee this whole part of the community.
The city has provided a map of the undergrounding, which shows throughout San Diego the different phases and areas that are affected. La Jolla Shores is currently undergoing Block 1, Phase 1, which is the western part of La Jolla Shores. The eastern part of La Jolla Shores did have undergrounding, but that has been since completed. So now we're finishing up the western portions.
Some of the houses were not connected as all the other ones were to the poles and to the power lines above. And so they've had to go in to those particular houses and dig trenches and put in the conduits so that they can pull the lines for those particular houses. And there have been anywhere from a couple to a half dozen in each block that they've had to do that.
So this lengthy process does require that the power is shut off every now and then. The neighbors behind me, they will receive notices on their door alerting them to a temporary power shut off. It doesn't last more than, I would say, an hour or two. That's been happening more and more recently while the work has been getting closer and closer to completion.